I got asked the interesting question about Run DMC. Were they the first merch act from hip hop? You know, everybody's all about their merchandising. And how did they pull it off back then? And I've had this conversation about Run DMC before. No, they weren't my favorite rap group back in the day. Whodini was, but Run DMC was like the Beatles, and they were like the Jackson Five. I mean, anything that changes the course of it, you gotta give it to them. You know, you can sit here and debate that Outkast is the greatest group. You can say Public Enemy. You can say Wu Tang. You can say uh, NWA. You can go on and name all the, you know, some may even think Bone Thugs and Harmony. But if you ask me point blank who was the most important group, it's Run DMC. All due respect to Grandmaster Flash Furious 5, Heavy D and the Boys. I can name others that I liked a whole lot of EPMD, but Run DMC and Ghetto Boys too. But Run DMC, they was the standards. They was the ones that head to toe. And the trip out thing about them is they never were called sellouts because the rap game was tight. Their whole grills, their styling was their drip was on point, and they hit you so quick with it. Plus, they were doing original music when they worked with producer Larry Smith. You know, even when they sampled, it still didn't sound like samples. Still sounded fresh. They took them Bob James cuts. They took them back beats and made them unique. Flipped Aerosmith, flipped them. You know, took a lot of tracks and made it work, you know, and just hit. And they were like a throwback, but yet they were modern. And you can't really ever put Run DMC in no box because they just kind of stood alone, you know, really. And really, there hasn't been another hip hop group like them with the dark lokes and the hats and the Adidas when they put a shoe brand out. And before, back when people would call you biting and a sellout, they had no time to react to Run DMC because DMC hit you so quick that they was doing it. You can make the case that DMC with Adidas was as big as Michael Jordan's Air Jordans with Nike. You can almost make that case and not come off cray cray. You're gonna make the case that DMC's approach to marketing and merch wasn't as they didn't have the dominance that Michael Jackson did, but they were close enough where you could almost make a case because their glasses, the hats, the kicks, the gear, that's how big they were. So I gotta ask, I said, did Run DMC's merch take away from the music? No. It just enhanced. It went hand in hand. You know, acts back in the day had a vision of what they wanted to look like, what they wanted to sound like. So it went hand in hand. It's a lost art now because you just don't really see people taking that pride and that styling with it. But Jam Master Jay, rest in peace, Turntable, he had his style. The Fat Dookie chains, you know, they had their own shirts. I still see people walk down the street Run DMC shirts. I don't even know if they know who they are or how they were raised on them, but that's the impact they had. It's just, you know, when you leave that kind of indelible mark, Run DMC was actually, to be honest with you, they were one of the first acts that I saw that actually had open merch and coming out the gate with open merch because they were like doing it and people were, I mean, people were emulating R&B and pop acts, but the rappers, what they were doing, they made that thing fashionable. They were the ones who, you know, truly ushered in that era where they, you know, they were an entity doing it already. It's almost like they knew there wasn't gonna be no more money in music, so it's like, look, we better get our merch tight. And I still see the sweaters and the whole thing, you know, the insignia. And so their merch did not take away from the music, but they were big though. I'll be doing some takes on some acts where, you know, did the drip and the music go work together or did one side take the other? But DMC was walking it hand in hand. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Share it if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm on one time. Peace.